the other day. I think, okay, I see it now. Yeah, I got it. So that.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of Black College Experience. I am Derek Thomas in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and I have on with me in Atlanta, Georgia, the site of Super Bowl, I think, 52 or 53? One of them up there in Georgia. Keisha Kelly. What's going on, Kels?
We are here in Atlanta. It's getting closer and closer to Super Bowl. We're excited to be hosting Super Bowl. The atmosphere is just crazy. So much going on in Atlanta. They're getting ready. They're having their meetings for the volunteers. It is. It's just so much going on. I mean, I think that the atmosphere is just so crazy. It's amazing. And everyone's excited here. What they're doing. Like, I don't know if you saw, but I posted the pictures. A guy he did murals of Clark Atlanta, Morehouse, Spelman, and Morris Brown. Well, that is like, they're getting the city ready, with murals for Super Bowl. So, and that's how it's close to the AUC. So, it is pretty exciting. Now, I took it a step beyond. I went and got my own Super Bowl lapel pin. They did have a lapel pin. So I'm excited. It's going to be a lot going on, and I actually took the day off after Super Bowl, no matter who there. I'm like, okay, I'm not going to work.
Yes,
so we're pretty excited.
Well, you already know, since my team qualified for the AFC Championship game, if the Chiefs were to defeat the Patriots, I'm going to have to hobo my way up to Atlanta. So get your couch ready. Get your couch ready.
I think I would take the couch and you could take the bed. I think that's how that works.
Well, I got other family up there too, but I don't even have to go to. I know I don't have money for a game ticket, but just to be in that environment, if my Chiefs were to go to the Super Bowl, and
they're talking, tailgating and everything. Everything is already set up, so it is. It's just a crazy environment right now.
Yes, indeed. But, we're here to talk about HBCU football. And, of course, we had 3 HBCU grads who played for the Colts, and you've been posting about them all week. I know Darius Leonard had a monster game coming up short, and he was just posting that it's time to go back to the lab. He had a tremendous rookie year. Chester Rogers had a pretty good year, wide receiver, and returning kicks, and Grover Stewart also had a good year rotating in that Colts defensive line. So 3 HBCU foundational players that the Colts have. And, I was torn because I'm a Chiefs fan. I'm also a Darius Leonard fan, do the HBCUs. But, but your team with their HBCU alum, Teron Armstead, has taken the lead. I know you're excited.
So excited. Just hoping that he'll be okay. That, because he's still semi-hurt. He can't even get the cortisone shot, from my understanding. So, hoping that he can make it through. These guys are beat up. Both sides beat up. Just beat up and tore down. So, hopefully they can finish this out. They can make it out of this game with a W.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, so we can still have, I guess, they're the HBCU guys are falling out one by one. We had two or three more fall out, or 2 fall out today.
3.
Because with the Chargers.
Trent Scott.
and Anthony Lanier. So that, that's 2 more. I'm like, we're falling out like flies, but somebody has to be left standing.
Right. And I want to say hello to my line brother, Patrick Perry. He's on with us tonight. Calls in faithfully every week. What's going on, PP? Maybe he's on mute, but he's there. But just to talk about... Go ahead.
Just to let Patrick know, Patrick, your shirt... Oh, God, please don't kill me. I did put your shirt in the mail yesterday. And then I realized that I ordered navy blue instead of royal blue. So
we'll take it.
In the next order, we'll throw another. We'll put a royal blue in there. We'll put the white color in there because I did. These blues confuse me. So you just tell me what you want, and you did it.
So, PP, I see you on. You there, LB? Maybe he has his phone on mute. He'll jump in later. But, our guest tonight is going to be Eric Jackson, an alum of Rust College, and he's also the current women's basketball coach at Rust College. He's also our frat brother going over at Rust. So tonight, since he's out of the GCAC, we're going to start off with some GAC action in men's basketball. And it's been fast and furious in the GAC in basketball. I mean, it's just Tougaloo College, Kels. They have been on a tear. I mean, we had Coach Billups on with us a few weeks ago.
Right.
And, I know what he's capable of doing, seeing what he built at Lanier. But they're on an 8-game winning streak. I mean, they have been blowing people out. Tonzel Hardy has just been – he's the leading rebounder and scorer for the Bulldogs. The past 8 games, let's see, they had a game – let's see here. The last game was Edward Waters. They defeated Edward Waters by 1 point. I'm sorry, that's Southern University defeating Edward Waters. And but Tougaloo defeated Philander Smith 78-64. Excuse me, that was Edward Waters defeating Suno. Tougaloo defeats Philander Smith 78-64. Dillard defeats Talladega 71-65. Rust College loses to Xavier 47-64. This is the men, by the way. That was the games on today. On Thursday, Rust College falls to Crawler Ridge, Arkansas, 96-86. I mean, the basketball in the GCAC is fast and furious. You don't really have a lot of, I guess you can say, hype in the GCAC. Some teams may have a 6'9" or a 6'10", but most likely you're gonna have mostly 6'6", maybe a 6'6" center, and everybody plays all the positions. Guards, forwards. I mean, the basketball in the GCAC is fast and furious compared to how it used to be in the SWAC before we started getting those tall guys. But on the women's side, let's talk about Coach Jackson's team. He has led the Lady Bearcats to an 11-3 record. Right now, they're sitting 0-3 in GCAC, but leading the GCAC is Xavier and Dillard, respectively. Xavier with a 2-5 record overall, 2-0 in GCAC. Dillard 2-0 in GCAC. Talladega 2-1. Ed Waters 2-1. Philander Smith 2-1. Suno 1-2, and Russ and Tougaloo women bringing up the rear at 0-3. But guess what, Kels? The Rust College has a nucleus. They have the leading scorer in the conference, and also the leading assist maker in the conference. So when Coach gets on with us, he can talk to us about how he has molded those young ladies in his first year. And this is our first guest from Rust College, an HBCU, a private HBCU in my home state. I know all about Rust College up there in North Mississippi. I mean, in their first year in the GCAC, we already have the women's head coach. Okay, we just lost Kels. PP, you there?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay.
So we're going to wait for Kels to come back. There she go. Kels, you back?
I did what I did there. I'm sorry. I was listening to that.
It's all right. We were just, talking about the Rust College women and the rest of the league and the GCAC and basketball. I mean, can't wait to hear. Go ahead, Kels.
Well, I'm going to say, while we're there, I'm going to go ahead and give a shout out to the GCAC. Like you said, they're very, very, very responsive. Shout out to them on Twitter. When I say they take care of business on Twitter, whoever runs their Twitter page, Instagram as well, like they're constantly, they're on the move, and they're very responsive, and they're, as far as getting their followers up, they've done a great job.
Oh, yes.
Because they're very consistent about their social media, and they do a really good job. Even the commissioner, all of them respond really well. So shout out to them. And then, of course, there is a Dr. Talley was the person that actually connected me to Coach Jackson. So, you know, it's a lot of good stuff coming out of Rust College. It's a lot of good people over at Rust College.
Oh, yes. My pastor that raised me, you know, he's an alum of Rust College. I have a couple good friends of mine that are alums of Rust College. I tagged them and inboxed them this link. So we finna talk about y'all school, so y'all need to come check us out. So, you know, I mean, it's just wonderful to have an HBCU like this where we can get them exposure and they respond to us. Like you said, they are responsible. When I was making a post, before I could even post it on Twitter, Kels, they was already retweeting it. I was like, that just shows you, you know, how they see that we're covering them, we're giving them time, and they're responding to us. And that's the start of a beautiful relationship. So I'm going to definitely try to cover some GCAC games here in Louisiana, definitely in my home state of Mississippi when I go home to cover Tougaloo. So definitely want to start, you know, trying to experience some GCAC athletic action, Kels.
Absolutely. I mean, and we can just see what the turnaround. And like I said, you know, they do. And if you look at Xavier, you look at Dillon, they have a juggernaut of basketball. They do really well in basketball and track and field.
And volleyball.
So, yeah. So they have some, even just because they don't have football does not mean that they're not doing what they need to do in sports, because they do. They're running some tables over there. And you know what? They are just as petty as Morehouse and Clark, because they talk a lot of trash back and forth, and I love it.
It don't matter what level HBCU on. There's going to always be trash talk. I mean, I grew up on the campus of Tougaloo. A lot of trash. I grew up on the campus of Tougaloo. So before I hung out on Jack State's campus and Valley's campus, my first, as far as a mindful adult of what a college is supposed to do, it was Tougaloo College. You know, that's where I learned about Greek life for the first time, on the campus of Tougaloo College. So the GCAC has a lot to offer. But before we get Coach on the next 5 minutes, we got some stories we want to update everybody on. Now, with the football season being over, Kels, and this came as a shock to me, we had 2 HBCU underclassmen declare for the NFL draft. You don't have that too often, Kels, especially with our athletes being marginalized as not being good enough, which Dallas Leonard has definitely changed the game with that. We have 2. One from the SWAC, Alcorn defensive tackle Sterling Shippey, and North Carolina A&T defensive end Darryl Johnson. Both of these young men are awesome athletes. Sterling Shippey, you know, rebounding from an injury early in his career, thought he wasn't going to be able to play football anymore, came back to lead Alcorn to a SWAC championship. Darryl Johnson, one of the top defenders and sack masters in the MEAC. You know, these 2 teams faced each other in the Celebration Bowl with North Carolina A&T come out on top. And now these young men are trying to take their talents to the NFL, following in the wake of Tariq Cohen, following in the wake of Darius Leonard. Now it's Darryl Johnson and Sterling Shippey. What do you think about underclassmen declaring for the NFL out of HBCUs, Kels?
I think it's no different from HBCU players than PWI players. I think if they feel like they have enough skill, enough talent, I think that to me, it's just one and the same. The only thing that's different is the program and the school name. And I think if they have the skill, once again, the skill set and the talent, I think that it's the same thing.
Exactly. I agree with you. And just to give some background, Johnson leaves school after his junior year. And it was stated that the last 2 years practice against Oakland Raiders draft pick Brandon Parker, you know, helped prepare him for the NFL. He feels like, hey, this guy got drafted and he performed well in the NFL. I practiced against this guy for years, getting the best of him sometimes. So I guess when you're measuring yourself against someone you practice against for years and you see that they perform well in the NFL, it gives you the confidence to say, I can make that jump a year early.
Well, let me ask you this, and maybe your line brother's on. Let me ask you this. Okay, so being that you're a junior and you declare for it. And I'm just seeing, a different angle from this. You have the Senior Bowl, you have the HBCU Spirit of America Bowl. Do you think that those would be better prepared, like that would prepare them more, because they do have scouts at both of those events? Now, granted, you're not always invited to the Senior Bowl, but the HBCU Spirit of America Bowl, that is open where you can register and go, get the exposure.
Right.
But do you think that those would be better prepares for these guys before they actually declare for the NFL?
I think so. I mean, of course, he won't be able to go to the Senior Bowl because he's not senior, but he can apply for the Spirit of America Bowl and get some coaching by scouts. Get his name out there, flash. That's what people want. They want you to flash your talent, because all it takes, your mantra kills, all it takes is one person to see you and they will find you. So, PP, what do you think about Shippey and Johnson declaring early for the NFL draft? What's your opinion on that, Fred?
I think that's what is it? I see the other one. I think it's the exposure to the Celebration Bowl. That's the reason why they can come out like that, because even 2 years ago, you wouldn't have never thought, that somebody from an HBCU can, jump out early. Somebody proposed. I saw somebody else say somewhere else about, what if we got to the point where a player from an HBCU chose to sit out and not play in a bowl game because it would hurt their draft stock. So, I mean, plus these players, they use, if they know that they're going, if they usually want to come out early anyway, unless somebody in the NFL, a scout or something like that, especially at A&T, said that, okay, if you were like a third or fourth rounder or something like that, yeah, from HBCU, yeah, you're going to be guaranteed at least $3 or $4 million. Come on, go ahead and go.
Right.
So
now I did a search on Shippey. I couldn't find Johnston, but Sterling Shippey from DraftScout.com, he's ranked as the number 40 defensive tackle. 6 foot, 300 pound defensive tackle. He's quick off the ball. He's a pass rusher. He's not just a run stuffer. So a defensive lineman like him who's quick twitch is definitely going to have a place in the NFL in a rotation until he, solidifies himself as a player like Darius Leonard did. Because as we know, Darius Leonard, and I said this last week, another conversation, was rated as the worst draft pick. Well, he proved everybody wrong. All you need is a chance. So I wish these young men well. I would love to see them back playing HBCU football, but they feel like it's time for them to go cash a check. And here's the thing. If these young men do well, then we all know it's a copycat. Another highly ranked or highly successful HBCU player may try to test the water themselves. And that's what we really want. All we want is an opportunity to have a seat at the table. Darius Leonard is there. He's provided more seats. So has Tariq Cohen, provided more seats at the table for HBCU athletes. So I'm for it. I would like to see some of our other high-end athletes at least test the waters. Because as the underclassmen at these SEC schools, you can go get your draft grade. And if you have a pretty good draft grade, then you may decide to either come back or stay in. So perhaps, like you said, PP, someone may have given them a draft grade. This wasn't reported. Haven't been able to find if they have gotten that draft grade or not, but I'm pretty sure they have. So, and that ding means we have our guest on. I see the 662-9591. Kels, that is our guest. And even though he is my fraternity brother, you have the honor of introducing our guest tonight.
Okay, so without further ado, we do have Coach Eric Jackson. He is entering into his 4th collegiate season. Jackson has spent the past 2 years coaching at varsity girls basketball at Westside High School in Jacksonville, Florida. Now Coach is over at Rust College, as Derek was saying previously, and we were talking about what was going on and how they're handling it. Coach Jackson is younger than I am, way younger. He's 29 years old, but he is y'all frat brother. He is also an alumnus of Rust College, so it's great to be back, I'm sure, at your school. So without further ado, we give y'all Coach Eric Jackson.
Man, we need to throw some blue fires out there tonight, Kels. You surrounded by Sigmas, Kels.
Oh, my God. See it happen again. You see it happen again. It happened again.
That's all right. We everywhere like Santa Claus, you know?
See.
Yes, indeed.
Now, see. All
now,
right.
Coach, go ahead, Kels.
Oh, I didn't. Okay, so, Coach, we'll start off here. Now, take us back because you're, transitioning from high school to college. I know that, that doesn't always happen well. So take us back to that transition from high school to college coaching.
Well, I was actually at Concordia College in Selma, Alabama at first. But then I wound up transitioning to high school and getting back into college. Basically what happened was,
I see some championships there now.
Oh yeah, we had some championships there. Back, I graduated from Rust with a math degree, and you know how it is. Everybody's looking for a math teacher, and so when I started opening up for the market in high school, saying I wanted to teach math, and I kind of leveraged that to use it to have an opportunity to coach basketball as well, and went there, had a couple of offers, and I just went to the school that was closest to where I would be living at the time, and their program just wasn't the best at the time. But when I actually got a chance to meet the girls, I was kind of surprised because they were actually some hard-working girls, athletic and all that kind of stuff. And they was like, "Coach, we only won one game last year," and all this kind of stuff. And so started putting some things in place, a little structure and all that kind of stuff. And the administration was just really supportive and all that good stuff. And so we wound up winning, I think, maybe 12 games my first year, and got to the district championship and wound up losing. But the good news was the second year we brought everybody back, and I got a really good transfer point guard in that kind of moved into the area, and that kind of just took us over the top to win like 20-plus games and winning that district championship, but ultimately losing to a team that ultimately went to the state championship in the playoffs in the Final Four. So definitely had a great season there. It just kind of worked out to the situation where, around the same time, I was just kind of looking and seeing what's next for me. And, all of a sudden I hear that my alma mater is looking for a women's basketball coach. And, and it just so happened that all the administrators that were there when I graduated in 2011 were still there. And so I wound up making a few phone calls, sending in my resume, and maybe about a week or two later, the AD gave me a call and said, "You ready to come home?" And here I am today. Yes,
indeed. And how did it feel to be back in Holly Springs?
Oh man, it is just a blessing, just to be back in my hometown where I actually went to high school at and won 2 state championships here at Holly Springs High School, and just understanding just the love for basketball that this small town, just a small Northeast Mississippi area has for basketball. They just love basketball here, and just to be able to bring that back and that kind of passion back to Holly Springs in general, now at the collegiate level, and at my alma mater, man, it's just a blessing, and I'm just so happy that Dr. Beckley and Dr. Edwards gave me the opportunity to be here, because they could have chosen anybody they wanted to, but they opted to give me the opportunity, and I'm just trying to make the best of it.
Yes, indeed. So, right now you're sitting at, I think, 11-3, and you're 0-3 in the conference. But you have 2 very talented players. One who is leading the league in points scored. One who is leading the league in assists. That is Kay Walker and Hooker. Talk to us about those young ladies, and how have you gotten them to buy into what you're selling as the first-year head coach?
Okay, well, Taylor Hooks is just is my point guard, man. She actually came to me from St. Gregory's University, which is in Oklahoma. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that, but 2 games into her season last year, her athletics program and her school just completely closed down. And so she was looking for school. Yeah, like in December, she was looking for a school, and we talked and all that kind of stuff. So she actually came to me January of last year and really helped us turn the program around, and it was really like the staple to what we're trying to do here. And I told Taylor, I said, look, I'm gonna build a team around. She's a pass first point guard, as you guys can see. Really smart and all that kind of stuff, and just the class act on and off the court. And I told her, look, I'm gonna build a team around you. And so one of those situations happened where, as we were playing, Kamisha Walker came into the loop. One of my contacts told me that, I got a 5'9" wing from Atlanta that's looking to play, and all the contacts that I knew where she played at and all that kind of stuff said she checked out, and she came and worked out for me and all those kinds of things. And man, she has been nothing short of phenomenal.
Phenomenal is not the word. She's leading the conference in scoring at 21 points per game.
Yes, no doubt about it. No doubt about it. She's a big part of what we do. She has taken that load and really doing a good job with the pressure and being really, really consistent. And a lot of times, especially being the key focus on an opposing team's scouting report, she's still night in and night out. Gives us what we need on the offensive end. In spite of, and then she also takes on the task of guarding the other team's best player at the same time.
Right.
So she's kind of like Kawhi Leonard, if you will.
Yeah, because she's shooting at 47% from the field, 40% from 3-point, 83% from free throw, and she can rebound. But what I want to talk about this freshman you got. This freshman, she's a 6-foot freshman, Katie Blackman, 6'1" freshman. Talk about her.
Man, Katie Blackman actually came to me. I actually recruited her teammate out of high school. Her name is Serena Ship. She's also on the team as well. And Serena Ship came to me. She said, Coach, I want to come play. And she signed and she actually went to Olive Branch High School, which is, I don't know if you're familiar with the area. It's about 30 minutes from Holly Springs. But they're coached by Jason Thompson, who is a high school legend here in Mississippi. I think he's either tied or leading in the most state championships by a coach right now. And, I got Serena here, and she loved it here. And Katie was already signed and committed to go to a local JUCO, and she's, going here, and she loved it, man. And ever since she came back, ever since she found out that Serena was here, Katie was like, well, see if Coach can I come and all that kind of stuff. And, man, I didn't really know too much about her because she wasn't available when I started recruiting because she signed so early. And then, she wound up being a dandy dozen, which is pretty much an all-state caliber player.
Wait a minute.
She had a whole –
You trying to tell me you have a dandy dozen, which is one of the top basketball players in the state of Mississippi, and Holly Springs playing for Rust?
That's what I'm telling you.
Oh, wow. This guy's a recruiter, y'all.
Hey, y'all know y'all got to explain that to me because y'all know I'm not Mississippi. So.
Okay, what the dandy dozen is, Mississippi has, in football and basketball, we have the dandy dozen, the top 12 players in the state. And I'm kind of shocked I didn't recognize her name because normally I follow high school basketball and check out who the dandy dozen, who's on the dandy dozen list. Man, that's cool because that means she's 6'1". Hey,
right.
I understand some of the times the big programs let people slip through the cracks, but I'm glad this young lady ended up with you because she's with her because she's playing as a true freshman. Averaging 11.3 points a game as a true freshman out of high school. And she's a beast on the boards. She's averaging a double-double.
Yep, that's her. That's her. And make no mistake about it, she had offers from, Austin P and Murray State and a lot of mid-major schools and a lot of schools in the SWAC. But she likes to be close to home. She likes to be close to home. And so when that opportunity came about And her and Serena are also best friends as well. So, that definitely helped my cause and getting her. But man, she is just again another top notch honor student as well. And she balls, and she doesn't ask any questions, and she's just willing to learn so much, And so she's learning how to be a college athlete. And I think the ceiling is so high for her, just because she's still learning how to use the tools that she has at the right time. And, she's just out there just playing basketball right now. And she's averaging a double-double. So by the time she's a junior or a sophomore, rather, man, I just, I would want her on my team for sure. And I'm glad she's on my team, because she's going to be something special for sure.
Yes, indeed. I'm looking at her page now, the Dan Dozen profiles. And yes, I mean, she had an offer from Valley. I'm kind of upset. How you gonna steal a player from my school?
Oh man, I didn't do it, man. I didn't do it.
You know what? She's where God wants her. I mean, she's playing, she's dominating, and it's gonna help you. Because in that part of Mississippi, girls basketball is very dominant. I mean, Olive Branch has FBS players every year. So for this young lady to be as highly, as far as highly ranked in the state of Mississippi, for her to go to Rust, I mean, that's cool for you. That's good for Rust. That's good exposure for Rust, because as she continues to grow as a player, I mean, hey, who knows? She could possibly be the first WNBA player to come out of Rust. Who knows?
Hey, you know what? I'll be right there with that cap on at the bank at the draft too.
Yes, indeed. So, what I want to talk to you about, since we are talking about recruiting, what is your recruiting strategy? I mean,
see, that's how we think alike, because that was going to be my next question. That was going to be my next question.
I mean, because
that's all right.
Because I know what Russ is. I know Russ is a small HBCU, right, private HBCU, and then it's attractive for players who want to play right away and who want to get a quality education. Because, it produced my pastor, and he's gone on to do great things. So I know several other alums from Russ, now you included, doing great things. So you don't have to go to a big school to get a quality education and play basketball. You can go to Russ and succeed. So talk about your recruiting strategy, and how do you get these athletes with all these accolades to come play at Russ College?
Well, I tell people all the time, especially it's so funny because with me having to coach at the high school level for a couple of years, and also coaching at Concordia back in my younger days, I got an opportunity to see both sides of the spectrum of being that coach who places kids into the next level and playing college ball, but also the coach that also recruits kids as well. And that helped me, especially this year, just because I got the opportunity to meet some high school coaches who have some talented kids. When I was at Concordia, I will admit I was a big time JUCO recruiter. I liked the fact that they were already ready to go, and had some college experience and all that kind of stuff, and knowing how to move around the campus. But just recruiting right now. I try to recruit two ways. I try to get really high academic kids, and just the fact that'll help us, and that'll help us as a campus, just getting some really good alums here to help us do what we do. But I also try to recruit nationally, and a lot of coaches kind of recruit in the area. But I got kids on my roster from Arizona, from New York, from Oklahoma, from Florida, Tennessee. Like my wide range of roster picking is just really what helps me. Just because a lot of kids especially the kids out west, there's not a whole lot of HBCUs, if any, out there. So if you want to get an HBCU experience, a lot of coaches don't really even talk to them or even know that this is an option for them. And so when they get those type of opportunities, they just really want to hear about it and all that kind of stuff. And I also, just try my best to sell myself. and sell, the type of program that I run and the things that I expect from them and the things that I hold dear to the program, and and it just seems to work, and I keep constant contact with them, because sometimes I think also with them talking to the actual head coach, especially those more talented kids, it goes a long way, just because of the fact that at those bigger schools, the head coach got to do all these public events and all those kinds of things, so they don't necessarily have the opportunity to talk to the head coach all the time. They're always talking to an assistant, but when you get the time of the head coach and you're talking to him, 2 or 3 times a week, and, we're getting to know each other, and we're talking about sometimes things that have nothing to do with a recruiting process, we're just talking about life, or we may be talking about the latest episode of Empire or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
We start to put that bond of, Coach Jackson the person, or Kamisha Walker the person, or Katie Blackman the person. So now when it's time for me to coach her, I know exactly, how I can approach her and all that kind of stuff, and that gets the best out of them, and I think they can sense that, because, these kids are smart, and they got they have a good judge of character, and then they can sense BS a mile away.
Oh yeah.
I know thing that I learned in high school, if you go out there teaching and you don't know what you're talking about, those high school kids will pick up on it quick, and they'll you'll lose them. But if you are genuine with them, they'll pick that up as well, and they'll gravitate to you. And I think the same way when it comes to recruiting, and I think that has definitely helped me out, because I am definitely blessed to have a talented group of girls become at Rust College in such a short term, when a lot of these kids could have really went somewhere else, and they actually chose Rust, and it wasn't a last second or a last option type of situation, and I'm very grateful for that.
Right, and you have some size. Like Katie is a 6'1" freshman. You have a 6'2" sophomore, Lisa Crawford, another 5'11" freshman, and Talia Russian Gillespie. Talia Russian Gillespie, and then of course your leading scorer, Kamisha Walker. And right now, I know you're ready to get that first victory in the GCAC. Because
you have no idea.
you're having a successful season. 11-3, that's a good year. But like you said, it's your first year coaching at your alma mater. I mean, but getting that first conference win, that's gonna taste so good for you. It's gonna feel so good for those young ladies to say, okay, we didn't win a lot of games last year, but we've turned that around. So it's the first season in the GCAC as well.
Right, for sure. But yeah, man, we just, that first win, we actually play Tougaloo tomorrow at home. And so this will be the last game of our homestand. And, we actually about 45 minutes ago, we just got done with film and a light walkthrough and all that kind of stuff, trying to get ready. And, and me and the girls had a conversation just about, the margin for error. We came back. We played a really, really tough Talladega team, which is ranked number 12 in the country. And we did not come to play that day, and it showed on the scoreboard. And then we wound up playing Xavier and Edward Waters down to the nail, but those teams are experienced in conference play, and they taught us a lesson, players and coaches alike, that the margin for error is so small. It's so small. You waste 2 or 3 possessions, and that's a 6-point loss. You miss a free throw here or a layup there, that's a loss. And the conference doesn't know about, they don't care about, did you lose by 1, or did you lose only because you missed that free throw, or did you lose because the officiating wasn't what you wanted it. It's either a win or a loss. And at the end of the day, we gotta figure that out. But the good news is we have a young team still. I only have one senior in Taylor Hooks, and so we're learning that together. We're learning that together, and they're still chipping away and learning and continuing to grow as people and as student athletes. Because we talked about getting the right amount of sleep. And it doesn't seem like much. When you're playing, quarters 1 and 2, but quarters 3 and 4, what you've been doing is going to start telling on. You know, are you getting the right sleep? Are you eating the right foods and all those different kinds of things? And that's the type of situation that you got to put yourself in, the best chance to win. And so if you really want to win, we got to continue to do the right things, you know, outside of practice. And that's the thing that's really, really important. And I think my younger girls are starting to see that. Because, you know, with being so young and being out of high school and all those different kinds of things, you know, you're away from your parents and stuff. And it feels so good to, I ain't got to go to bed when mama tell me to go. You know, I don't have to stay in the house when the street lights come on, you know, and all those different kinds of things. And so
they're
starting to see that, look, oh yeah, find time to study and all those different kinds of things. That's it. So now they're starting to realize that, and they're getting their feet planted up under them now. And I think they're starting to get it slowly but surely. And I think we're going to be better for it by the time the conference tournament turns around.
Now, with you playing Tougaloo, this is your in-state GCAC rivalry. In the SWAC, we have Jackson State, Valley, and Alcorn in-state rivalries. I mean, this is your first year in the GCAC. You know, I mean, what kind of trash talk we going to have back and forth between Rust and Tougaloo? Are we going to name this, give it a rivalry name or something? Because right now, you know, the winner of this game is going to have their first GCAC conference win.
That's true. That's true. I mean, I'll leave that to the SIDs and the press writers to find a creative name. They'll be way more creative than I am because I'm focusing on just trying to get us our first win, man. And you know, they're a tough team. You know, they're a tough team. They're a proud team. They got a good coach. You know, and they got a proud athletic staff. I had the pleasure of meeting a lot of those coaches at our conference retreat this summer, and they expect to do great things. You know, they expect to do great things, and you know, I'm just looking forward to the challenge tomorrow and see, you know, how well we have got better. You know, and see how where we have improved and all those kinds of things, and get ready, man. And that's pretty much it.
Kels?
So one of the things we always know is in the locker room, what is the locker room morale like? Or what is it like, you know, as far as a team? Do you have any team leaders? Who leads the team? And what is that like as far as your girls, like, you know, the morale between the players?
Okay. Well, I believe that I really, truly believe that a team is a reflection of their coach and all that kind of stuff. And so with me, I'm kind of in the locker room, we just kind of just lay back and relax. I know they're going to feed off of me, and so I try my best to stay as even keel as possible, not too high when we do well, not too low when we make a mistake, you know, and just try to keep them at a happy medium, so that way, you know, we know how to deal with both adversity and success in a championship way. But one thing that I noticed that jumped out to me is Jalea Pope. She has just been a godsend in terms of just leadership, both vocally and just through her actions. You know, all the time her stats don't show the effect that she has on the game because most of her effectiveness is during practice. She's always the first one to come in practice. She's always energized. And you know how we are. We all work. You know, we don't come in to work every day feeling like $1 million, you know, and you know, sometimes we can have stuff from the outside to deal with us and give us a good excuse to why we don't have to go 100%. But with Jalea Polk, you will never know what's wrong with her, or if anything is wrong with her, because she comes to work every day. She comes to practice every day, just ready to get better. You know, she's that kid that's gonna, she's gonna look you square in your eye. She's gonna do exactly what you tell her to do to the best of her ability. You know, and the kids feed off of that. You know, and I guarantee you, you know, we took a poll and we asked everybody, you know, who is the best leader on the team? You know, they would say without hesitation, Jalea Polk, man. And that's not a knock to everybody else, because everybody else has their leadership mentality and their leadership qualities. But she's definitely the one that jumps off the page for me with no hesitation at all.
Okay, Derek.
Well, that's all I have, and you know, and we're glad to have you on. You know, we're not gonna blue fire you to death tonight, Keisha.
It's okay. Y'all just had y'all Founders Day, so it's okay.
Yeah, happy belated Founders Day, Frat.
Know that.
And today is
Right.
the Founders Day for the Delta Sigma Theta.
Right.
So, Fred, we want to thank you for calling in tonight, being a part of Black College Experience, talking to us about the program you're trying to build at Rust College. And now that you have become a guest on Black College Experience, you don't need an invitation to call in. After you get your first win or a couple wins under your belt, if you want to call in and celebrate with us on a Sunday night, feel free to call in and just talk to us about what you got going on. If you just want to express yourself, talk about HBCUs in general. It don't even have to be about Russ. If you just want to call in and participate in the podcast, man, you're family now. You're definitely family to me and PP because, we got them 3 letters behind our names. So we want again, like I said, thank you for calling in, man. And we just can't wait to see what you do with the Russ Lady Bearcat basketball program.
Well, I'll tell you what, I definitely appreciate you guys having me. It was truly an honor. And, in my young career, this is actually my first interview. So I definitely appreciate that. But you guys asking me and having me here. And I definitely won't be a stranger.
Oh, most definitely. Not with you being my frat brother. Go ahead, Kels.
I was just saying thanks, Coach.
Okay, no problem at all. You guys have a blessed evening, and I look forward to hearing from you soon.
Same to you, Coach. All right. Now, Kels, man, he was an interesting interview. I mean, even if he wasn't my frat brother, I would like him. I mean, for him to get a former Dandy Dozen member to come and play at Rust College, that is a man who can recruit. I mean, and she's paying dividends for his team as well.
I mean, you can just tell that he's a great recruiter all around from the people that he named. And he's talking about, even from freshmen, he's talking about how he, and think about it, and he's still young. He's 29. So just think about where he's getting ready to take this program to.
Yes, indeed. But before we get out of here, we want to try to run through some rest of the HBCU action on the hardwood. First up, SWAC men's basketball, weekend's game. PP, we happy again. Mississippi Valley State defeats Alabama A&M 72-63. Grambling State, this is men's. Grambling State comes back to beat Southern 69-63. Jackson State beats Alcorn 59-52. Arkansas Pine Bluff defeats Alabama State 82-71. And the upset Central in the SWAC Hills, the Big 12 beating, SEC dominating, Pac-12 whipping Texas Southern Tigers drops a SWAC game to Prairie View 79-73. With Prairie View, I guess you can say, putting Texas Southern on notice that the SWAC will not be a walk for them, even though they have beaten very, very talented teams. What do you think about Prairie View able to, I guess you can say, steal Texas Southern's thunder in the SWAC early in the season?
I guess it kind of sets us off because we were just having this discussion. Remember last week we were talking about how, Texas Southern comes off and what they're doing and how it can be impressive on both sides. So it did. It was kind of crazy, but it did happen. And, it's still early. It's just getting into conference play. So we know Texas Southern will probably shake back after that one loss.
Yeah, I definitely agree. PP, what do you think about this victory Prairie View has over Texas Southern to start out SWAC play? First 2 games.
I think I posted in the group. Man, anybody can beat anybody in the SWAC. It don't matter who you beat. This the same Texas Southern team that a couple of years ago. They was running through the SWAC, undefeated. They came to Valley on ESPNU, and we blew them out the gym. Anybody could beat anybody in the SWAC. So
couldn't even go to bed that night. It was like a Monday or Tuesday.
Oh, we talk so much noise. So much noise.
I couldn't even go to, it was I think it had a couple of overtimes too, huh?
Yeah, it was overtime.
Yeah, I think it had an overtime. I couldn't even go to bed. That was a real good game. It was a real good game that night.
Now, on the women's side, we're not happy about this. Our Lady Devils lose to Alabama A&M 80-60. Texas Southern Women's defeat Prairie View 52-44. Kels, your Lady Jags were down early, but overcame a triple-double by Chicago Hill to defeat Grambling in the Women's Bayou Classic on the hardwood first game, 86-81. Alabama State defeats Arkansas Pine Bluff 58-56 in overtime. And my good buddy and hopefully future Black College Experience guest, Tamika Reed, head coach of Jackson State, got her first SWAC win today. 88-66 over Alcorn. I know that got to be good for her to beat Alcorn like that. We all grew up hating Alcorn. And she gets a chance to coach and defeat the Braves, send them back home up to the reservation with a whooping like that. Congratulations, Coach Reed, on your first SWAC win. Can't wait to see how she builds that program. Now, jumping over to the MEAC. Bethune-Cookman defeats Howard 71-63. Florida A&M defeats Savannah State 69-64. Norfolk State beats up on Coppin State 80-66. North Carolina A&T defeats Delaware State 93-70. North Carolina Central blows out Maryland Eastern Shore 61-48. South Carolina State beats Morgan State 72-68. All right, and on the women's side in the MEAC, Howard beats Bethune-Cookman 61-40. Maryland Eastern Shore defeats North Carolina Central 59-49. Morgan State defeats South Carolina State 62-51. Norfolk State beats Coppin State 68-63. North Carolina A&T defeats Delaware State 67-47. Savannah State beats Florida A&M 64-60. Now, in the CIAC, before we talk about scores, Kels, before we get out of here, Morehouse again having a strong start to the season, Kels. Talk about what you think about what Morehouse been able to do to start this season.
Right now, Morehouse is number 7, ranked 7th in the nation. So, of course, they're getting ready to make that run once again. And, of course, you're in conference play. So, I think they've 1 or 2 losses, but they're going once again. And I think this is going to be a repeat of what 2018 was. And the question is who's going to stop them? Will they catch them on an off night? Or who's going to stop this Morehouse Maroon Tigers team? Because they're moving in the same direction as they were last year. And just remember, they don't even have Tyrus Walker this year, so they're moving in the same direction to go once again and compete for a championship.
Yes, indeed. Now let's run down these scores in the SEAC before we get ready to get out of here. Tuskegee defeats Kentucky State 65-61. Miles defeats Central State 67-48. Lamar Owens defeats Lane by 1 point. They're going those cardiac games, killed them 1-point victories you like so much, 70-69. Fort Valley State beats rival Albany State 61-57.
Those hurt my feelings.
Which one?
Those hurt your feelings. Those 1-pointers.
Oh yeah. Clark Atlanta beats up on Benedict 87-73, and Morehouse blows out Payne 84-61. Switching over to the SEAC women. This weekend's games. Clark Atlanta falls to Benedict 87-71. Tuskegee falls to defeats Kentucky State 57-47. Miles defeats Central State 69-57. Lamar Owen beats Lane 64-59. Fort Valley State blows out Albany State 80-69. But before we get out of here, there is one thing that I want to talk about. Kels, as you know, in July of 2018, I lost my sister to breast cancer. And when I was compiling the stories for this weekend's podcast, there was a young lady who I found out is battling stage 4 lymphoma, which is a form of cancer. And she's a former MEAC track athlete and conference champion, and that is Summer Brown. And as you know, cancer in any form is very, very near and dear to my heart because
I saw that. Yeah, I did. I saw that story this week. Mm-hmm.
Right. It's taking young people left and right. And she has received such great support from Bethune-Cookman, from social media. I'm gonna pray for this lady as she starts her battle to defeat lymphoma. I mean, just reading the article, there was a time where she couldn't even walk. Now she can walk. She can do a slow jog. I mean, she's getting herself back together after undergoing some treatment. So, as Summer Brown battles lymphoma, Black College experience, and myself personally, because my family has been affected by cancer, many different forms of cancer in many ways. We're with you. We're praying for you as you won many races. So we know you're going to win the race against stage 4 lymphoma.
Amen.
Yes.
It is. It's a sad case, and it's just one of those things. I think we've all lost somebody to cancer.
Right.
I've lost an aunt to cancer. I've lost a brother-in-law to cancer. And, it's one of those things. It's hard. It's tough, especially when you're young. I had a friend that I was in band with, and she literally passed away. I remember her passed away when I was in college. I went to school in August of 99. She passed away in November of 99. So it was just it's scary. And yesterday she celebrated what would have been her, I think, she would have been 36 yesterday or some 35, 36. So she celebrated her, it's been like 19 years or so. And I was just like, I just can't believe it's been that long.
Yes. I mean, and a few more tidbits of news before we get out of here. Buddy Ball will be back. Coach Buddy Pooh will be back to coach South Carolina State, but there is no word on how long his contract will be renewed for. We know Coach Buddy Pooh has been at South Carolina State for a number of years. They started the season slow, finished up strong. It's good to see Coach Pooh back. I just want to know, is he going to be there long term, short term? Are they going to keep him along so he can get the record for wins? But you got to do something, to solidify and stabilize your program, because this is a coach who has roots at South Carolina State. In social media, there have been rumors that he goes above and beyond. I'm not going to give details, that he goes above and beyond what a football coach should do for his players. So when you have a coach like that goes above and beyond, that can't be the only reason for him to keep his job, but it shows he loves those players. And for someone to give so much back outside of just coaching, I mean, I want him to get that wins record. I want him to be able to retire from South Carolina State, but I know they don't care what I want. But I'm glad he's going to be back for another year coaching South Carolina State on the football field, Kels.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right. And other CIAA news, the conference has voted to move their conference basketball championships starting in 2021 to 2023 from Charlotte to Baltimore. And that has created a buzz, but some people not happy. I saw on social media that some fans were excited about the move to Baltimore. Other fans felt like that Charlotte was a good centralized area for the CIAA basketball tournament, but starting in 2021 to 2023, it will be in Baltimore. Will they come back to Charlotte after? I guess we'll see. I mean, Baltimore is a beautiful city. They have a pro football team. It's in the area of, I guess, I don't know how far it is from Washington, D.C., but it's a beautiful city from what I can see. So I think, should they have stayed in Charlotte? Should they have moved to Baltimore? I'm like this. As long as the athletes can have a quality experience of a tournament championship, I don't care where it is. Both cities can provide a different sort of feel, but what do you think about the CIAA moving this basketball tournament from Charlotte to Baltimore?
A lot of people are upset about it, and a lot of people are like, well, no, that it's not going to happen. And I had to have this conversation with people, and I know, Patrick knows, we're all HBCU grads, so we understand. Let me tell you, it's a lot of people that are here that didn't go to HBCU. A lot of people don't even know what the CIAA tournament is about, because they have it's so many parties around it. It's so day party, so night. It's so much nightlife driven around it that they think that's what CIAA is about. So when I'm trying to explain to them, I'm like, y'all, it's not even about the party. Like, y'all talking about what's the nightlife going to be like. I said, that ain't even the purpose of the game. The purpose of the game or the purpose of the tournament is for basketball. And I was like, so with them having, I think it's like 24 or whatever thousand in that arena and they're not filling it up, then boom, you move it. Okay, well, if you're not going to it there, you go to a venue where you feel like it will, and we'll see how it works for those 2 years or whatever that it's there. But, you know, it's definitely a situation where if you're not supporting the basketball games or you just going to the parties, it's no purpose.
Exactly. Now, we're almost out of time. Do you want to announce who our guest for next week is going to be, or you want to keep that on the wraps?
No, absolutely want to do that. Two things before we get out of there. I gotta give a shout out to today. Her name is Pinky. Owner today. She did a grand opening of the Slutty Vegan. Oh my God, the name catches everybody. The Slutty Vegan is a vegan restaurant. When I tell y'all, the grand opening was so emotional. It's just to see where she come from. So many people are asking the question, why are you so driven by it? Because she is a graduate of Clark Atlanta. Yes. She was Miss Clark Atlanta 2008 to 2009. She is a member of Delta Sigma Theta. So this girl got it going on. Oh yeah. And she had so much stuff that she was driven to do. But the most important thing that I took from what she was saying, that she's talking about all the different things, but this lady actually said for every order taken today, she would donate $1 out of each order back to Clark Atlanta. So she was serious. She had the people on board, everybody on board. Yeah, she had everybody on board. It was really good, and she did. She continued to pay homage. Now for next week's guest, this is what I was supposed to be telling you. Everybody, please tune in. We have none other than, I call him Mr. Alabama A&M. If they want you out, they'll find you. That's where that came from years ago. When he got drafted, that's where it came from. If they want you, they'll find you. That's where I got that from when he first started playing. Mm-hmm. Robert Mathis, Indianapolis coach, will be joining us next week. Black College Experience.
Yes, indeed. Mr. Sacks. Mr. Sackman. I used to call him Dwight Freeney Jr. when he was playing.
Yep.
So, can't wait to have that. I'm going to be to talk some noise, too, because my Chiefs, like I said, beat his coach. So, I'm going to be able to pick on him next week, you know. He was on that team when the coach came back and beat my Chiefs in the playoffs. So, I got my revenge. I'm happy. So, we're out of here tonight. Be sure, like Kel said, be sure to tune in next week to catch that interview. We'll be back next week with more Black College Experience. Have a good night, everybody.
Good night.